How do birds know where to migrate? It feels almost impossible when you think about it. Every year, millions of birds leave one place, travel thousands of kilometers across mountains, oceans, and deserts, and arrive at the same destinations with surprising accuracy. No maps, no GPS, no instructions written down. So how do they actually know where to go? The short answer is they don't know it the way humans do. They follow a layered navigation system built from instincts, environmental cues, and biological sensors that work together like a natural navigation toolkit. And once you break it down, it becomes less like magic and more like a highly optimized survival algorithm. The first layer is instinct. Many migratory routes are encoded genetically. Birds are not born with a map in their minds, but they are born with directional tendencies. This means a young bird may instinctively know something like fly southwest for a certain duration rather than go to this exact city. This is why migration still works even when no adult teaches it in detail. The behavior is partially pre-programmed, shaped by thousands of years of evolution. Birds that happen to move in the right general direction survived and reproduced. Those that didn't. But instinct alone is not enough, because the world is not static. Wind patterns change, weather shifts, landscapes vary, so birds rely heavily on external cues to refine their route in real time. One of the most important cues is the sun. Birds can use the position of the sun as a directional reference, but they don't just look at it blindly. They have an internal biological clock that allows them to compensate for the sun's movement across the sky. So even as the sun shifts from east to west during the day, the bird can still maintain a consistent direction. It's like having a built-in time-corrected compass. At night, some species switch to a completely different system, the stars. They can recognize star patterns and use the rotation of the night sky around the pole star region to orient themselves. This means they are not just reacting to light, they are interpreting large-scale celestial structure. But even that is only part of the system. Birds also use Earth itself as a navigation field. The planet has a magnetic field, and certain birds possess a biological ability called magnetoreception. While the exact mechanism is still being studied, evidence suggests they can detect magnetic field lines and use them as a directional guide. In simple terms, they may have something like a built-in compass that always points toward magnetic north. So now you have three overlapping systems: internal genetic direction, solar and stellar navigation, magnetic field sensing. But birds don't rely on just one at a time. They combine them, constantly cross-checking information like a multi-layered navigation system. And then there's memory. Experienced birds don't just follow instincts. They remember landmarks, coastlines, mountain ranges, rivers. These become visual checkpoints. A bird that has completed migration before can refine its route, making it more efficient with each journey. This is why older birds often lead flocks. They literally carry navigational experience in their brains. But there's another subtle factor that people often miss. Migration is not a single decision made once. It is a continuous feedback process. Birds adjust altitude based on wind conditions. They shift direction if storms appear. They pause in stopover regions where food is available. Migration is not a straight line. It is a dynamic optimization process happening in real time. So instead of asking, how do birds know where to migrate? A more accurate question is, how do they continuously stay oriented while everything around them changes? The answer is by stacking multiple imperfect systems on top of each other until the overall result becomes highly reliable. None of the systems alone is flawless. The sun can be obscured, stars can be hidden, magnetic signals can vary, but together they create redundancy. And redundancy is what makes migration possible at continental scale. Migration is not optional for most species. It is tied directly to food availability, breeding success, and climate cycles. Birds that fail to migrate correctly often don't survive long enough to pass on their genes. Over time, this selects for increasingly precise navigation abilities. So what looks like intelligence is actually the result of repeated natural selection, refining a biological system into something extremely efficient. In the end, birds don't know where they are going in a human sense. They navigate using a combination of instinct, environmental physics, sensory biology, and memory, layered together into a system that is simple in its parts but incredibly powerful in its outcome. And that's why every year they still arrive where they need to be, even across a planet that never stops changing.